Just like a board game, the world is always providing us with instant feedback. We could learn a lot if we tuned in more. One day, not long ago, I complained to my wife that the cleaner must have shrunk my pants. My wife gently smiled and poked me in the stomach to inform me that the pants had not shrunk. Something else had happened, expanded. Me. The cash flow game was designed to give every personal player personal feedback. Its purpose is to give you options. If you draw the board card and it puts you into debt, the question is, now what can you do? How many different financial options can you come up with? That is the purpose of the game, to teach players to think and create new and various financial options. Thousands of people throughout the world have played this game. The player who get out of the rat race the quickest are the player who understand the number and have creative financial minds. They recognize different financial options. Rich people are often creative and take calculated risk. People who take the longest are people who are not familiar with numbers and often do not understand the power of investing. Some people play cash flow, gain a lot of money in the game, but they don't know what to do with it. Even though they have money, everyone else seems to be getting ahead of them. And that is true in real life. There are a lot of people who have a lot of money and do not get ahead financially. Limiting your options is the same way as hanging to an old ideas. I have a friend from high school who now works at the three jobs. Years ago, he was the richest of all my classmates. When the local sugar plantation closed, the company he worked for went down with the plantation. In his mind, he had but one option, but that was the old option: work hard. The problem was that he couldn't find any equivalent job recognized his seniority from the old company. As a result, he is overqualified for the job he currently has. So his salary is lower. He now works three jobs to earn enough to survive. I have watched people playing cash flow complain that the right opportunity cards are not coming their way. So they sit there. I know people who do that in real life. They wait for the right opportunity. I have watched people get the right opportunity card and then not have enough money. Then they complain that they would have gotten out of the rat race if they had more money. So they sit there. I know people in real life who do that also. They see all the great deals, but they have no money. And I have seen people pull a great opportunity card, read it out loud, and have no idea that it is a great opportunity. They have the money, the time is right, they have the card, but they can't see the opportunity start staring them in the face. They fail to see how it fits into their financial plans for escaping the rat race. And I know more people like that than all the other combined. Most people have an opportunity of a lifetime flash right in front of them and they fail to see it. A year later, they find out about it after everyone else got rich. Financial intelligence is simply having more options. If the opportunity aren't coming your way, what else can you do to improve your financial position? If any an opportunity lands in your lap and you have no money and the bank won't talk to you, what else can you do to get the opportunity to work in your favor? If your hunch is wrong and you what you have been counting on doesn't happen, how can you turn a lemon into a million? That is financial intelligence. It's not so much what happens, but how many different financial solutions you can think of to turn a lemon into millions. It is how creative you are in solving financial problems. Most people only know one solution: work hard, save, and borrow. So, why would you want to increase your financial intelligence? Because you want to be the kind of a person who creates your own luck. You take whatever happens and make it better. Few people realize that luck, luck is created just as money is. And if you want to be luckier and create money instead of working hard, then your financial intelligence is important. If you are kind of a person who is waiting for the right thing to happen, you might have to wait for a long time. It's like waiting for all the traffic light signals to be green for 5 miles before you start your trip. As a young boy, Mike and I were constantly told by my rich dad that money is not real. Rich dad occasionally reminded us of how close we are, how close we came to the secret of money on the first day. We got together and began making money out of a plaster of Paris. The poor and middle class people work for money. He would say, the rich make money. The more real you think money is, the harder you will work for it. If you can grasp the idea that money is not real, you'll get rich faster. What is it? Was a question Micah, Mike and I often come back with. What is money if it is not real? What we agree it is was all Rich Dad would say. The single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If it is trained well, it can create enormous wealth. Seemingly instantaneously, as untrained mind can also create extreme poverty that can crush a family for generations. In the information age, money is increasing exponentially. Few individuals are getting ridiculously rich from nothing, just ideas and agreements. If you ask many people who trade stock or investments for a living, they see it done all the time. Often, millions can be made instantaneously from nothing, and by nothing, I mean no money was exchanged. It is done via agreement. A hand signal in a trading pit, a blip on a trading screen in Lisbon from a trader's screen in Toronto and back to Lisbon, a call to my broker to buy, and a moment later to sell. Money did not change hands, agreements did. So, why develop your financial genius? Only you can answer that. I can tell you why I have been developing this area of my intelligence. I do it because I want to make money fast. Not because I need to, but because I want to. It is a fascinating learning process. I develop my financial IQ because I want to participate in the fastest game. Biggest part in the world, the biggest game in the world, and in my own small way, I would like to be part of this unprecedented evolution of humanity, the era where humans work proudly with their minds and not with their bodies. Besides, it is where the action is, it is what is happening. It's a hip, it's scary, and it's fun. That is why I invest in my financial intelligence, developing the most powerful asset I have. I want to be with the people moving boldly forward. I do not want to be with those left behind. I'll give you a simple example of creating money. In the early 1990s, the economy of Phoenix, Arizona was horrible. I was watching TV shows when a financial planner came on and began forecasting dooms and glooms. His advice was to save money. Put $100 away every month, he said. In 40 years, you will be multimillionaire. Well, putting a money away for every month is a sound idea, is one option, the option most people subscribe to. The problem is this: it blinds the person to what really is going on. It causes them to miss major opportunities for much more significant growth for their money. The world is passing them by. As I said, economy was terrible at that time. For investor, this is the perfect market condition. A chunk of my money was in the stock market and in the apartment houses. I was short of cash because people were giving properties away. I was buying. I was not saving money, I was investing. Kim and I had more than $1 million in cash working in a market that was rising fast. It was the best opportunity to invest. The economy was terrible. I just could not pass up these small deals. Houses that were once $100,000 were now $75,000. But instead of shopping with local real estate agents, I began shopping at the bankruptcy attorney office or the courthouse step. In these shopping places, a $75,000 house could sometimes be bought for $20,000 or less. For $2,000, which was loaned to me from my friend for 90 days for $200, I gave an attorney a cashier check as a down payment. While the acquisition was being processed, I ran ads and advertising a $75,000 house for only 60,000 and no money downs. The phone rang hard and heavy. Prospective buyers were screened, and once the property was legally mine, all the prospective buyers were allowed to look at the house. It was a feeding frenzy. The house sold in few minutes. I asked for 2,500 processing fee, which they gladly handed over, and the escrow and the tide company took from there. I returned the $2,000 to my friend and additional $200. He was happy. The home buyers was happy. The attorney was happy, and I was happy. I had sold a house for $60,000 that cost me $20,000. The $40,000 were created from money in my asset column in the form of a promissory note from the buyer. Total working time 5 hours. So now that you are on your way to becoming financially literate and skilled, reading numbers, I will show you why this is an example of money being invented. $40,000 is created in the asset column. Money is invested without being taxed at 10% interest, $4,000 a year in the cash flow the is added in income. During the depressed market, Kim and I were able to do six of those simple transactions in our spare time, while the bulk of our money was in larger properties and stock market, and we were able to create more than $190,000 in assets, notes at 10% interest. In those six buys, create and sell transaction, that comes to approximately $9,000 a year income, much of it sheltered through our private corporations. Much of that $90,000 a year goes to pay for our company, car, gas, trip, insurance, dinners, and with clients and other things. By the time the government gets a chance to tax the money, it's been spent on a legally allowed pre-tax expenses. How much income would you have to earn if the government tax 50% in taxes? Takes 50% tax. How long would you uh, take to save $40,000? This was a simple example of how money is invented, created, and protected using financial intelligence. Ask yourself, how long would it take to save $190,000? Would the bank pay you the 10% interest on your money and the promissory note is good for 30 years? I hope they never pay me the $190,000. I have to pay tax if they pay me. And besides, $90,000 paid over 30 years is a little over 500,000 in income. I have people ask what happens if the person doesn't pay. That does happen, and it's good news. That $60,000 home could be taken back and resold for $70,000 and another $2,500 collected as a loan processing fee. It would still be zero down transactions in his mind and of the new buyer, and the process would go on. The first time I sold the house, I paid back the $2,000. So technically, I have no money in the transaction. My return on investment is infinity. It's an example of no money making a lot of money. In the sound transaction, when resold, I would have put $2,000 in my pocket and re-extended the loan to 30 years. Why would my ROI be? What would my ROI be if I got paid money to make money? I do not know, but it sure beats the saving $100 a month, which actually starts out as $150 because it's after tax income for for 40 years, earning lower interest, and again you're taxed on the interest. That's not too intelligent. It may be safe, but it's not smart. A few years later, as the Phoenix real estate market strengthened, those houses were sold for $60,000, became worth $110,000. Foreclosure opportunity was still available, but became rare. It cost a valuable asset, my time, to go out looking for them. Thousands of buyers were looking for a few available deals. The market had changed. It was time to move out, move on, and look for other opportunities to put in the asset columns. You can't do that here. That's against the law. You're lying. I hear those comments much more often than can you show me how to do that? The math is simple. You do not need algebra or calculus of and the escrow company uh, handles the legal transactions and the servicing of the payment. I have no roof to fix or toilet to unplug because the owner do that. It's their house. Occasionally someone does not pay, and that is wonderful because they there are late fees or they move out, the property is sold again. The court system handles that. And it may not work in your area. The market conditions may be different, but the example illustrates how simple financial process can create hundreds of thousands of dollars with little money and low risk. Is an example of money being only an agreement. Anyone with a high school education can do it, yet most people won't. Most people listen to the standard advice of working hard and save money. For 30 hours of work, for about 30 hours of work, approximately $190,000 was created in the asset column, and no tax were paid. Which sounds harder to you? Work hard, 50% pay taxes, save what is left. Your saving that then earns 5%, which is also taxed. Take the time to develop your financial intelligence, harness the power of your brain and the asset column. If you use option number one, to be sure to factor in how much time it takes you to save $190,000. Time is your one of your greatest asset. Now you may understand why I silently shake my head when I hear parents say, "My child is doing well in school and receiving a good education." It may be good, but is it adequate? I know the above investment strategy is a small one. It is used to illustrate how small can grow into big. Again, my success reflects the importance of strong financial foundation, which starts with strong financial education.